Hey everybody, welcome to another version of the live Q&A with our event director, Kristy Maki. I'm Ben Popp, the executive director of the American Birkebeiner Ski Foundation. Just want to welcome you to this evening. You know, it's been a bit of a long winter for many of us. Of course, Mother Nature has not been exactly kind to many of us in the ski industry. But I will say this, I think the ski community is stronger than ever. We've been persevering, if you will, through some tough conditions. And there's been some amazing events bringing us together. And there's a whole lot more coming. As we all know, the World Cup, we just had no Cayman in. It's pretty darn exciting. So I think tonight the whole idea is to really share with you some of the things that we're working on, as well as some of the things that we think are going to help get us to where we want to be come the end of February. And to start, what I'd like to do is just a bunch of thank yous. You know, a lot of you either call or email. We have a staff that loves this event, loves the community, and does a ton of work because we believe the experiences that we can provide for you are critical. They're so important, and we love doing it. So do not hesitate to reach out, call, email, because that's what we're here for. The volunteers, the community, a lot of work is going in because we cannot wait to host you later in February. So with that said, I guess it's time to get rolling to find out a little bit about what's going to happen for the 50th. So we get it. We understand that the weather is on everybody's mind right now. As you can see, the long term is not been super kind to us. We look at some of these next 5, 7, 10, 12 days, and it definitely is above average. Some of those models certainly are starting to show some cooler weather coming in as we get a little bit farther down the road. But at the end of the day, we know it's not perfect. But here's the deal. This is not the first time that this has happened for the American Birkebeiner. Anybody be out there? I'm sure some of you have skied the Bikini Birkebeiner in '81. Now, mind you, I was only 7, so it wasn't me. But I think the idea here is that it's not the only time that something's happened in the Birkebeiner. '83, there was an ice issue. Certainly then again, as we moved on into later into the '80s, more and more. And at the end of the day, continually the organization was willing and able to do whatever it took. 2000 was a bummer. We realized that it was canceled. And there was the 2002, the shortened one, that Duffy's Field, by the way, that was a great event. That was one of my favorites. We learned a ton in 2017. Many of you were a part of that. The big storm was coming. A lot was going to happen. And unfortunately, we had to cancel it. We tried really hard. 2021, we learned a lot from all the Birkie preparation that you did as part of COVID that really helped us prepare for a lot of the things. But I'm going to say this. I think that all of the things that the organization has learned through these last 49 years has really helped prep us, if you will, for what's going to happen in the 50th. And even though there's been some setbacks in the past, I think this year is different because we've learned a ton, but we also have snowmaking. There was not something we had in 2000. It was not something that we had in 2017, but we have it now. And thanks to many of you who have helped donate to our capital campaigns, Mount Telmark Village. What we're going to talk about tonight, much of would have not been possible without your support of us helping purchase Telmark property. Much of what we might do in a worst case scenario will involve that property. Our snowmaking, the Tormenson family snowmaking loops, and all of that has gone into it. As you can see, this was just a few days ago making some huge whales of snow. We estimate that we have a bunch of work to still do to work on the contingencies that Kristy's going to present to you tonight. But at the end of the day, we're super excited about it. We think that we're going to be able to provide an experience for you come Birkie 50th anniversary. So we've had a great events already this year. And Kristy, you've already put on 3.
Yeah, we've had a really, really busy January. We've put on 3 races and weekends of events up at the American Birkebeiner Trailhead using the machine-made Tormenson snowmaking loops. They've been super successful. We've learned a lot. We know that the race courses that we've used the last 3 weekends will not support 13,000 skiers. And so we'll kind of go through some of those contingency plans and what will support 13,000 skiers up there. But it's been really successful. People have been out skiing a lot. They're really enjoying those loops. And I think we've learned that we can use that venue for a lot of different events. But we know that the next few days, the next 2 weeks really are going to make people nervous when they look at those forecasts. And they make us nervous too. So we're being realistic about what the 2024 American Birkebeiner Week of Events will look like, but we also know that it's the 50th anniversary of the American Birkebeiner, and people are excited, and we want to have that celebration. And that's our focus right now, is to make whatever we can so you can get your 10th, your 1st, your 50th Ernie St. Germain. That's our goal right now, is for you to be able to get to that goal.
Yeah, I mean, you think of how far the organization has come since 1973. Tony had this vision, this amazing event. Even now, fast forward to the teens, 2017, we weren't able to host it. Everything we've learned from then, the investments we've made, from the Dirksen Great Hall to all of the loops and the snowmaking and the venue to be able to host now upwards of 13, 14,000 skiers, another 15 to 20,000 spectators. Hey, they call this the greatest snow on snow. I think we're going to figure out something.
Okay, so we're going to talk now about what those 4 potential contingency plans could look like. Totally change, and we got cold weather and we got snow, natural snow. We could still plan a normal Birkie. So on top of all of these other ideas that we're coming up with, we're still moving forward with what would a normal Birkie look like? What would that finish on Main Street look like? However, we're super realistic, and I know that you all are too, and have lots of questions about, is that even possible? Well, none of us have a crystal ball, but we are making that plan just in case, while we move forward with other plans that look a little more realistic right now, going with that forecast that's calling for lower precipitation and or above normal temperatures. So our second contingency plan would look a lot like the 2021 COVID Birkie. So that would be a long lap Birkie starting at the American Birkebeiner trailhead, skiing to 00 on the skate trail, and coming back to the American Birkebeiner trailhead on the classic trail. So that would give us our 50 kilometers, our 29 kilometer Kortelopen, and a 15 kilometer Prince Håkon. That is our second option. If we don't have enough natural snow to cover the trail to 00, then our third option is a lap race up at the American Birkebeiner trailhead. We know that we've had 4 kilometers of great racing and a great course up there, but that will not be enough for 13,000 people. So if we do a lap race up at the American Birkebeiner trailhead, we know we need to get at least 10 kilometers there, most likely 10 to maybe a little bit more, depending on what Mother Nature helps us out with, if we have any natural snow. But those big whales, like we showed you earlier, those are key to being able to come up with a course using the man-made, machine-made snow that will allow us to spread you out enough that we can get all of you on during different times of that week. So please stay off of those huge whales right now. They're very dangerous. We need to preserve every snowflake possible in these next 2 weeks. So please stay off of those if you are up in this area. And of course, if we can't do a 10-kilometer lap, at least a 10-kilometer lap, then unfortunately, if we had some big catastrophic weather things, lots of rain, lots of warm temperature, of course, we would be looking at a cancellation at that point. Right now, the long-term forecast is looking up more favorable than that. So we're really hoping that we will land with one of the long loop or lap races right now. So the long lap and the loop races will affect your week of Birkie. We will have the open track on Wednesday, regardless of those 2 options. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now Sunday will look a little bit different. So we are making different plans for those 4 days, depending on which race you're doing. Even with over 10 kilometers in a lap, we still can't fit 7,000 people on the course at the same time. So we will have to change the schedule for the week, probably splitting up skate and classic races due to the width of the trail. Our goal is to have an enjoyable and safe race for all of you. So we're going to ask for your patience in a little while as we try and figure out what those schedules look like, how many racers we can fit on the trail at a time, and how we will split up those different events.
Kristy, I have a question from over here on the other side of the room. Do you a timeline? Obviously, weather's going to change a little bit. Is there a timeline on when you think you would make that decision?
Yes. So By February 12th, we expect to know then which race we are going to have to choose, or which option we're going to have to choose from. We know that you have travel plans, you have hotel reservations, we have lots of contractors, lots of volunteers that we need to work with. We want to give everyone time to understand what our contingency plan that we choose is and get everything in place to make this all happen. Any of these contingency plans means a lot of changes on our end. And we know that we need to make that ahead of time, so everybody is prepared for that. So we do have another live Q&A on Monday, February 12th, again at 7 p.m. And that's where we'll be announcing which contingency plan we think that we will be able to use for the following week. So you can also find out more information on all of these plans, what our latest up-to-date thoughts are on the Birkie at birkie.com/50. That's where we'll not only put things about which plan we think we're going to be using, but what are the fun things that we're still going to be able to put into place for the 50th. Lots of facts. I mean, Birkie's been around for 50 years. We think that's pretty incredible. We really want to celebrate it. We enjoy hearing your stories. There's a place to share your stories with us so we can share more of them over Birkie Week. We really want to make this a week of community celebration, of celebrating cross-country skiing, and not only thanking our participants, but also our volunteers, the Hayward and Cable communities, and everyone else that comes together to pull this amazing event off every year. All right, so now we're going to take some Q&As from that you've been submitting into our chat. How much ice on Lake Hayward?
I can feel that one. So last time we were out, which was about 10 days ago, that's when it was really, really cold. We had gotten up to about 9 inches of ice on Lake Hayward. Unfortunately, that said, with this last warm weather and it's river ice, it's now back under 4. And so the ice on Lake Hayward is definitely not thick at this point. We need at least 12 inches to get across it with a machine, and upwards of 8 or 9 to safely get the thousands of people across it. So right now, we need some cold ice on Lake Hayward. And honestly, this next 10 days of warmth that we see in early February is going to be really, really hard on it. My guess is Lake Hayward will most likely be back open again, which means the period after that to make ice is going to have to be pretty cold, with hopes to realistically get into downtown Hayward.
Loop lap options. When we find out our race day wave, we're going to come up with some contingencies and some guesses on that schedule probably pretty soon. Wednesday will be the open track day. We're hoping to add another open track of sorts day on Thursday, so you could ski your Birkie Skater Classic on Thursday also. Friday will likely remain the Quarterlopet race. Saturday, the American Birkebeiner skate race, and Sunday, the American Birkebeiner Classic race. If we have to go to a multi-lap situation, that's most likely what the schedule will look like. But February 12th, we will let you know all of those last minute details. There's a chance we might have to do certain waves on certain days because we still can't fit everybody into one day. But we're working on all those different scenarios, what those timelines might look like, how many people and how many tracks and skate decks we can fit on the course at one time.
And I think one of the things that we were really fortunate, we actually did a study not that long ago at Georgia Tech. They worked for FedEx and did a bunch of really cool statistical analysis on skiers as they move down the trail. And I think being able to use some of that data is going to really help us because, right, first and foremost, we need to have a safe event. And secondly, we want to make sure that it's a great time for everybody. So I think utilizing some of the data that's been collected, it won't be a guess. We know how many people we can put on a trail safely at any given time. So depending on length of lap, that'll help us determine how spread out it has to be and whatnot. And those are all the things that we're doing right now as you guys consider all the different options throughout.
And we're thinking about, we want that person that can do a 2-hour Birkie to finish and the person that can do an 8-hour Birkie. We want to make sure that you can all get in your Birkie in 2024. Can we switch to open track? So we're not going to allow any switches to the Wednesday open track, but like I said before, we're considering Thursday, creating another open track of sorts where you could switch to that Thursday event for American Birkebeiner, Corlope, or Prince Hoken on Thursday.
Will that be finalized on the 12th, or when do we know?
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, we'll know that for sure by the 12th. And we might know that a little bit sooner as we create these models and see, look more at the flow of the race. I have 3 grandchildren skiing, Barney and Junior. Yeah, you know, we do not want to forget about the Thursday family day of events. The Birkie, the Barna Birkie, the Junior Birkie, the Giant Ski. Those are super fun events. They're super great at building community. We want to get all of our Barna Birkie hats on those kids. So we will be working in the next few days to determine what those events could look like. 2017, when we canceled the Birkie last, we had a great running race for a Barna Birkie and for Junior Birkie. Kids had fun. We had some obstacle courses. So we're still hoping to create some things for Thursday. So those events can still happen. They just might look a little bit differently. Most likely they're going to look a little different than they have in the past.
Kristy made a comment today that she didn't want to take 12,000 or 1,200 Barna Birkie hats home. So,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, next question. Is it possible to defer to 2025 now? No, there will be no deferrals, transfers, or refunds. We are committed to having something here. So you also won't be able to do your American Birkebeiner, Corlope, or Prince Hoken virtually. We're going to have an event in Hayward Cable area. We're not sure what that's going to look like. And when you registered, you did agree to our no refund, deferral, or transfer policy. We're spending all of our money. We've already spent a lot of it on hats and bibs and tents and other things to get ready to host you here. So there will be no deferrals. Volunteers, yes. There will be a lot of changes for volunteers. There will be location changes and time changes. Lots of different moving parts right there. And as we determine the schedule, we will be reaching out to all of our race chiefs. Thank our race chiefs right now for all the work that they do in a normal year. But now they're really going to be important for us to help implement these changes, get the word out to their volunteers, help us determine what a new location will look like for them and what they're going to need to be able to serve you on the course or at a different event. That's a really good question. I think they will, though.
Earth Rider said they're going to have plenty of beer.
We'll also have Earth Rider, our official beer of the Birkie, at all of the events on site too. So,
and bratwurst. We will not run out of bratwurst.
That's an important part.
Correct.
We might be calling you for some of that.
Yeah, you know, just to comment on that a little bit, I had spoken with Jim Sokupin, who's our trails and facilities director. The plan that they have started to put in place to help support all the contingency plans that Kristy and her crew are working on, from, man, we get a bunch of snow, can we get all the way down to Duffy Field, or we get some ice into Lake Hayward, all the way to loop courses, to the huge task of moving just all of those whales of snow that they created during that cold period. They'll be ready for it, and certainly there might be a time that we need help, and absolutely we will make the call if we do need help. So stay tuned. We're not afraid to ask for help. So we'll do what we can to get that snow out there and get it ready for you to ski on.
Drop dead date. So February 12th in our head is kind of the drop dead date. That point, we'll be able to see the 10-day forecast. We'll know what we're dealing with for the next week. So we hope by February 12th to be able to tell you exactly what we are going to do. We do know some things that are not going to change. The expo will be at the Hayward High School on Thursday and Friday. You will be able to go there and pick up your bibs, visit all of our sponsors and our vendors, talk to other people in the ski community. Expo will still be a great time, as it usually is. Birkie Bash on Thursday night. If you haven't gotten your ticket for that already, there's no changes in that, and there's a special guest this year.
Yep, that'll be the one opportunity to get to meet one Miss Jessie Diggins. That would be pretty cool.
There's also a matching grant for the Birkie Bash right now, so check out the website for more of that information if you want to figure out how to support us even more as we're going through all these changes and building the infrastructure that will help us put on these events more easily into the future. Will the Barn of Birkie become a running race? I think it's definitely a possibility that the Barn of Birkie could look a little bit differently. We do have some colder weather forecasts for 3 weeks out. So it kind of depends if any snow comes with that. You know, we have a really great partnership with the city of Hayward. They work with us a lot. If we can harvest any snow, maybe we'll be able to do something. But that's kind of a if and a long ways out at this point in time.
Yeah.
We hope this means that it's Ernie St. Germaine's 50th Birkie.
Yeah.
And we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen. We know that we need about 40 kilometers to be considered a long distance race. So we're hoping for 40 to 50 kilometers for the American Birkebeiner and 20 to 30 kilometers for the Coeur d'Alene, 10 to 15 kilometers for the Prince Hoken. If we can hit those goals, then the 2024 race will count for credit, and Ernie St. Germaine will be able to get his 50th American Birkebeiner. Some of the questions we still have, and is dependent on what the race course actually looks like, and the timing of things also will be, will this race count for your 2025 wave seeding? Will we be able to do age group awards? We're hoping for the best and we're planning for the best right now, but we also know that in worst case scenario, some of those things might have to be changed. Yeah, yes, calls about the Barn Birkie. Yeah, for all of our events and what Birkie Week will look like in general, we'll know that on February 12th. This is a good question.
I love that question.
Yes.
Can I answer? Can I answer? Can I answer?
Yes.
I mean, I think, honestly, if we're going to make lemonade out of lemons, if you will, I think, you know, none of you are going to get to see Jessie Diggins race because she would have started and you'd have never seen her again till the finish. So if we do end up in a bit of a lapse scenario, it could be that would be awesome opportunity to really highlight the elite athletes because they're doing a loop course. Maybe we put it at the end of the day one time, something that would give the most visibility for the most people to witness that event. And I think right now we have a really great contingent of World Cup athletes staying here after the race. Again, all those things can change based on their training, or they get sick, or they need to go back. But I think at the end of the day, they really realize that this is an amazing community and it's really what lifts them up as well. And so I think we have a really neat opportunity to showcase the best athletes in the world alongside all the popular skiers here. And, you know, I think they have amazing experiences all around the world, but I think between the Minneapolis and then up here where they're going to get thousands of cheering athletes, I think could be one heck of a spectacular showcase. So absolutely, the long answer to your short question is, yeah, I think we're going to do what we can to highlight the elite athletes.
And we want to make sure that you can watch them too. So stay tuned for a little bit more on how we figure all of that out.
Is that about a wrap? Well, I think that. Well,
I think we've answered. Yeah, I think we've. You know, right now nothing is set in stone. I just want to say that, but we are working hard to get this all figured out. From how will you get to the start? Where will you park? Can we use the same busing routes and same parking lots that we have in the past? What are things in downtown Hayward going to look like? What extra things will we have at the start and the finish line now? Because it might be all one and you could be up there for multiple days. We want to make sure that we have all the information for you and all up to date. We will be doing a digital participant guide. So you will be able to find that QR code on birkie.com/50 as soon as we have all of those details on. So you'll be able to bring that with you. Always refer to that. It will show you busing schedules, where to park, what the wave starts are going to be like, how to get your bib, where to get your bib, all of those details in. We know there are going to be lots of changes for this year. We still want to have a really great 50th American Birkebeiner celebration. It's amazing that the race has been going on since 1973. We're really committed to making it happen again this year. We can't do everything because we cannot, as much as we would like to, we can't pay Mother Nature to give us any more snow or cold weather, but we're going to be doing our best to make do with what we have and create something hopefully really amazing and memorable and something that you're going to want to come back to for the 51st next year.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just to say that, reiterate what was said earlier, know that the staff and the volunteers and the community, I was talking to Bayfield County, we were talking to the National Guard, you name it, everybody wants to see this happen. We know how important it is, not only for the community, the region, but also everyone skiing it, from the best skiers in the world like Jesse Diggins to my mom doing her 31st to somebody doing the Barn of Birkie. It's an awesome experience. We know it changes people's lives, and we're committed to making it happen. So hang in there, know that we're going to do everything we possibly can, and we're going to look forward to seeing you all up here in the Northwoods soon.
you.